having like a mental breakdown at work for like the third time consecutively. Like every time I go to work, I'm going to realize what's missing from my life is the aligned. You could say it's the formula, you could say it's the aligned action, you could say it's the limiting beliefs, but truthfully, I think what makes it easier for me to drop is manifestation. And not what is manifestation actually, not the fact that our realities are projected from us. I don't drop that. But what I drop is the idea of wanting something and but the idea of like, okay, I'm going to manifest items and objects. Because the reason why I've had to put it aside isn't because it doesn't work. It's because I realize I really don't care about the things. The things are really a side product of what I'm really looking for. Appreciation, care, love, really within myself. And manifestation doesn't really get you that. Worse, what I want with the thing is the feeling of achievement with it. There's the actual objects are meaningless. The money is meaningless. How even experiences themselves without the meaning we put in them are meaningless. But it's the meaning being pulled from it. The meaning of being, belonging, care, wholeness. You don't get that from manifestation. And sure, manifestation never said you were like manifestation techniques and the Neville Goddard. These things were never saying that's what you get from them. But what I've realized for me is that those are the things I really wanted. Because like growing up as a kid, sure, I have limiting beliefs around things. You were raised with limitation, but like I grew up not struggling for food, water, toys, experiences, movies, going places. But what I missed, what was actually missing from my life was that love, that care, that upliftment, you know? And that's in the background. That's the true limiting beliefs that are in the background. But they do, when you're on your own, they do end up causing blockages. And I'm thinking, the problem is I'm blocked from getting maybe a job, or having a good relationship, or going somewhere, or like, so, you know, we think about freedom to do what we want, freedom to get what we want, living free of stress. And but the truth of the matter is, what I wonder in that was sort of the validation that I deserve to exist through those things, because I had mistakenly placed them on. And the whole manifestation train, regardless of what it is, what the techniques are, what the techniques aren't, it was what it basically I was doing it to avoid what I would wanted to face, and that was my real self, the traumatized kid, and what goes beyond the traumatized kid. But there's things I'd have taken from it. I have actually used, you know, that I keep with me, because they're fundamental, like being in alignment and really taking action in that alignment. I think action is so fundamentally misunderstood in manifestation and disregarded in manifestation, but it just makes sense. One, because everything is an action. A thought is an action, a voice is an action, doing this are an action, because action is just a decision. Decision is just action. There are mental actions, verbal actions, physical actions, but they're all actions. And because you have a physical body, one, you have to take action, but two, without that alignment, it's there. And you know, alignment means a lot of things. People say alignment, but like, I'm less focused on the mental for me and more on the physical. But the reason I say this is not because of the 3D, the 4D, all that sort of stuff. The problem isn't really even just the mind. The problem is the concept, right? Because the visualizations are really the problem. Our affirmation of the problem, it's the concepts. It's getting wrapped up in the hows and the whys and the what's right and what's correct and how isn't this working. When you come from a mental space that's when you're so mind heavy and thought heavy and concept heavy, like I used to be and I still am, the really only way to manifest is to get out of that, which is to get in the body, get in the breath, get in the energy system. which is to take action. You need the physical action to do that. You need to be rooted in the physical world. So you have to do the opposite of ignore the 3D. Because the problem is when you're in your mind isn't clear. See, it's easy to be in your mind, be in your imagination when your imagination is clear and it's not tattered with all the problems from the programming. So you have to kind of burn out that programming through action, through work, karma yoga. And on karma, realizing that manifestation is just a manipulation of karma, which I had an inkling of this a while ago, that it feels like when you learn what karma is, manifestation is just a redistributing of karma, which is fine. It's not bad, but it's just, and then I get that confirmed that that's what manifestation is. You all the karma you've had from all your lifetimes, you can reorganize them into such a way, certain things to get certain outcomes. Certain things you would have to get to a next life, but that's manifestation. And what you do is you make sure you don't build up negative karma. That's why the limiting beliefs, the negative, the low vibration, that's just negative karma. And that's fine. But what that means is I can relax whether I'm doing it right, the right technique, because it's all what you say, do, think, which is what all the spiritual traditions teach you anyway as a baseline, not even to manifest, just to get to high levels of spirituality. But I'm glad I'm taking a break on. I'm glad I'm giving up on it, because I'm not really giving up because you can't really give up because you live in manifestation. You are manifesting every time. But I'm giving up on all the trying to manifest, which, yeah,